The When Calls the Heart family just got a little bigger, and honestly, this has been the most fertile year in Hope Valley's real-life history. Chris McNally and Julie Gonzalo have officially welcomed their second daughter, and the timing of this whole story, from that ridiculous, perfectly Hallmark pregnancy reveal back in December to this week's actual arrival, is honestly the sweetest thing I've covered all year. Let's start with how these two actually found each other, because their story has that same slow burn, found each other on set quality that defines half the romances on this show. Chris McNally and Julie Gonzalo met back in 2017 on the set of the Hallmark movie The Sweetest Heart, and they went on to co-star together again in 2023's 3-bed, 2-bath, 1 ghost. They married in 2018 and welcomed their first daughter in June 2022. Gonzalo's original announcement was so private she only ever referred to her as Baby M, holding her tiny finger in the photo. Now, the second pregnancy reveal. This is genuinely one of my favorite Hallmark behind-the-scenes moments of the whole year. On December 12, 2025, during a WCTH panel at the Hallmark Christmas Experience in Kansas City, surrounded by castmates Jack Wagner, Erin Krakow, Kevin McGarry, and others, McNally got up to talk about season 14's renewal and then just casually dropped the bomb. He joked, "There was something going on with our caterers. I don't know if you guys knew this, but they were giving us something. And we didn't know at the time, but it's not 1, not 2, but there's 3 coming." And then he pulled an actual sonogram out of his pocket in front of a packed ballroom. Because here's the thing, McNally and Gonzalo weren't the only WCTH couple expecting. Kayla, Wallace, and Kevin McGarry had announced their pregnancy in November. Less than 2 weeks after that, Erin Krakow and Ben Rosenbaum announced theirs. And then McNally closed out the trifecta in December. He said it himself, it was really special to share such incredible news and have the answer be us too. And then to share it again and have that answer be us too. So that was pretty great. 3 Hope Valley couples, 3 babies, all within weeks of each other. I genuinely don't think any other show's cast has pulled off something this wholesome by accident. On Valentine's Day this year, Gonzalo shared one more glimpse before the wait was over. A portrait of herself cradling her baby bump, sun glowing behind her, captioned, "Happy Valentine's Day." Almost complete. "We can't wait to meet you, little one, so soon," and signed it Dad, Mom, and Big Sister. Erin Krakow showed up in the comments calling it the most stunning photo of you ever, and Andrea Brooks wasn't far behind with most beautiful mama. I heart you guys. And now, the actual news. Chris McNally and Julie Gonzalo welcomed their second daughter on June 24, 2026. People got the exclusive, and the couple's own words about those first few days are honestly the most relatable new parent quote I've read in a while. They said, "Our first few weeks were a bit of a blur. Lots of love, very little sleep, and a healthy dose of stress. We seem to have forgotten how small newborns are. It seems impossible our oldest was ever that tiny. There have been plenty of family snuggles, though, which help make the exhaustion easier to handle." They also talked about what it's actually like going from 1 kid to 2. It's safe to say we are still adjusting. Going from 1 child to 2 has changed the rhythm of our household and required a new level of time management. Though despite the juggling act and a few expected and unexpected bumps along the way, we are slowly finding our new rhythm. And there's a small detail I love. They say the new baby already resembles her big sister. When we compare baby photos side by side, it's remarkable. They're nearly identical. Now here's where this whole story gets even better, because Chris and Julie's baby isn't an isolated headline. She's the third Hope Valley baby to arrive this year. Erin Krakow and Ben Rosenbaum welcomed their first daughter back in April. Kayla Wallace and Kevin McGarry's first child arrived on Mother's Day in May. And now in June, McNally and Gonzalo's second daughter rounds out the set. The couple said it best themselves. It's incredibly special. Having 3 babies arrive in such a short period of time among friends on the same show is not something we could have planned. It's been really nice having people close to you going through the same stage of life at the same time. But if we all look tired in the next season of When Calls the Heart, you know why. Now, while we're talking about what's next for this cast, I want to dig into something fans have actually been buzzing about since March, because it directly affects what kind of story Chris McNally comes back to once he's done enjoying these quiet weeks at home. And that's exactly where season 13 left his character, Lucas Bouchard. If you need a refresher, season 13 of When Calls the Heart wrapped up on March 22 with one of the most loaded finales this show has done in years. Lucas stood up in front of the whole town at the Hope Valley Harvest Festival and announced he was stepping down as governor, endorsing Mayor Hickam from Benson Hills to take over. And in that same speech, without ever saying her name out loud, he called Edie Martell his North Star, telling the crowd her brilliance, determination, sheer grit, and grace lit the way and will always, always inspire me. Everyone in Hope Valley knew exactly who he meant. Later that episode, he got bolder about it in person. There was a kiss. Fans had been waiting years for it. And by the end of the finale, Lucas chose to leave Hope Valley with Edie to join her on her next legal aid mission. And that's exactly where the uncertainty for season 14 comes in, because the show genuinely left Lucas's future open. Does he and Edie stick to her original plan and come back to Hope Valley after a couple months once her work in New York wraps up, ready to start their next chapter back home? Or does their legal aid work pull them in deeper and keep them away longer than anyone expected? Chris McNally is still listed among the cast, expected to return for season 14, so he's not leaving the show outright. But where Lucas actually is when the cameras roll again is genuinely an open question right now, and honestly one of the more interesting. Will they stay gone or come home setups this show has given us in a while? There's something kind of perfect about the timing of all this, honestly. While the show is figuring out whether Lucas gets to settle into a quieter, more rooted chapter of his life with Edie, Chris McNally in real life is doing exactly that. Settling into a quieter, fuller home with 2 daughters now instead of 1. I don't think the show is required to mirror real life, obviously, but there's something nice about an actor stepping into his own version of the next chapter, right as his character is being asked the exact same question. As for when we'll actually get answers, season 14 isn't rushing back. Hallmark confirmed production will begin sometime in 2026, most likely late spring or early summer, though that timeline has some built-in flexibility, since 3 of the show's stars, including Erin Krakow, we're expecting babies around the same window. The season itself isn't expected to premiere until sometime in 2027. So Lucas's fate, Edie's next move, and Abigail Stanton's long-awaited return, with Lori Loughlin back in the role, are all things we'll be waiting a while longer to actually see play out. In the meantime, McNally is holding on to what's left of these quiet weeks at home before he eventually heads back to set. As he and Gonzalo put it, Slow weekend mornings complete with cuddles are lovely. Honestly, after everything else this Hope Valley family has going on, both on screen and off, I think they've more than earned that. No name has been revealed for the new baby yet, and given how private this couple has always kept their family, I wouldn't expect that to change anytime soon. Drop a comment and tell me, were you keeping track of all 3 WCTH baby announcements this year? And do you think Lucas and Edie come back to Hope Valley in season 14? Or do you think the show keeps them away a while longer? Because honestly, watching this cast become real life family while we wait to find out what happens to their on-screen ones might be my favorite thing happening in the Hallmark universe right now.